Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Sorry about that, you guys. There's a technical difficulty with YouTube. So I don't know what's happening, but I had to jump out, delete, create, and yeah, so we're here, man. Thank you so much for joining the show, you guys. We are doing the 50 States of Fear, Arkansas, episode 4. You guys, I'm super excited about this. But before I get into the show, you guys, I'm all about what's the word I'm looking for? Supporting small businesses. So you guys, I just want you guys to know, go and check out Ally Coffee Roasters at www.allycoffee.com. If you guys enjoy a good cup of coffee, check these guys out. I promise you will not be disappointed. And I think they're running a promo. So if you guys order, I think through Christmas, if you put my name, Dano, when you check out, I guess you guys get like 10 or 15% off your order. So, but you guys check them out. Great coffee, great people, small business out of Cadillac, Michigan. Definitely check them out. If you guys have had an encounter and you'd like to come on the show, send me an email at thecryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. Again, that's thecryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. And as you guys know, my bro Josh and I, we have combined forces and we have come up with Mysteries and Cryptids. So if you'd like to check that out, it's mysteriesandcryptids.com, www.mysteriesandcryptids.com. There's some small things on there that aren't quite to where we want them to be, but I promise you, we've both been busy, and we're going to get in there and try to sew everything up, tighten everything up for you guys. Josh definitely has some merch on there. And you guys, I'm still trying to come up with some good merch. I just don't want to have the same merch everybody else does. I'm thinking kind of outside the box. I'm thinking maybe some Dano lotion or something like that. I don't know. Maybe some candles. I'm not sure. I'm just going to keep on throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. But again, check out www.mysteriesandcryptids.com. You guys hear a bunch of stuff popping off in the background. That's because I got some special guests, you guys. Tonight, I've assembled a group of cryptid lovers from the great state of Arkansas. You guys, without further ado, let's bring on this crazy motley crew of cryptid podcasters, investigators, cryptid lovers, whatever you want to call us. You guys, let's bring on these clowns. What's up, gentlemen? I've got with me Josh Smith from Mysteries Unknown. I've got Ash's Antics from the Boom Boom Room, and I got none other than Matthew from the Drunken Cryptid podcast, who is also hosting the Arkansas Cryptid Fest June 6, 2026. And yours truly is going to be a guest speaker. How are you guys doing tonight?
What's up?
Woo Pig Suey.
Yep.
You're what?
I said Woo Pig Suey. You can't talk about Arkansas without saying Woo Pig Suey.
I don't even know what that
That's
means.
true.
Is that like chop suey or something like that?
No.
Yeah, we'll start calling the hogs here soon.
Oh, no. So what's good, guys? Thank you so much first for agreeing to come on and being part of this show. I truly appreciate it. I respect every one of you guys very much. It was a pleasure being on. I've been on every one of your guys' shows, as you guys have been on my show. So tonight, you guys, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about things that are going on in Arkansas. Of course, we can't not talk about Arkansas without mentioning the Fouke Monster and a couple of things like that. I'm not really going to get into super detail on the whole thing because we already know what the Fouke Monster is. We've heard the stories, the Legend of Boggy Creek. We've heard all of that. But I did find some other ones. And when I did all the investigation and doing some deep digging and stuff, I didn't want to just read like a person named so-and-so. I wanted to go in and try to find their investigations, like their interviews, things like that. So some of what I have has been, again, I like to put stuff in ChatGPT, so it kind of gives me a better flow to read from. So that's what I did. So I took what I found with their investigations and or their interviews, and then put them in ChatGPT, and then where it'll be a better flow. We got a comment, Christopher, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, devil, buddy. We're not. We don't talk cryptocurrency, man. We're talking about cryptids. We talk about Bigfoot, Dogman. We talk about who else? What's your little man? Oh, Mothman, uh, stuff like that. So if you want to hear about Bigfoot and things like that, by all means, stay in the channel. But you will not hear us talk about cryptocurrency. So let's go around the horn. You guys introduce yourselves better than I did. So we'll start with Josh. We'll go down to Matt and over to Ashes. Tell us what you guys do, where you guys are from, and where they can find your channels.
Guys, I'm Josh with Mysteries Unknown. Me and Daniel go back from actually almost the very beginning. He was an early guest on my show, and I'm just excited to be here. You can check me out on YouTube and Spotify, Mysteries Unknown Podcast, and we talk all things cryptids.
Cool. All right. I'm Matthew Wharton, the host of the Drunken Cryptids here in Arkansas. Last year we did win the award, Best Documentary Podcast in the state of Arkansas. I am hosting the first annual Cryptid Fest in North Little Rock next June. So not only do I do a podcast on the cryptids and the paranormal, but I also go out and research. I just got back from the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree 3 months ago. Basically the Sally House with the Chum of the Spirits crew. So, and then I do all that and be a dad at the same time. So, you can find me on all your streaming services, YouTube, the usual, but make sure you click like and share.
I'm Ashes. My main channel is a gaming channel. Of course, I'm a nerd, Ashes Antics, and also have a podcast channel, The Boom Boom Room, where I interview different content creators. I've had a few encounters and also tell spooky folklore stories each weekend, preferably Saturday, but mostly Sunday. So that's about it, guys. You can find me on YouTube.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. I did see that. Hopefully they'll start moving on over. Again, I have no idea what happened. I tried to hit start and it just said, guess what? This live stream has been deleted. I'm like, what? So, but yeah, so you guys, we're gonna get in. I'm gonna just go ahead and talk. I'm gonna go to my notes and I'm gonna do some talking. You guys in the chat, talk amongst yourself, guys. If you guys could share this link to people out there, let them know, hey, he's up and he's live. He had to end the last stream due to technical difficulties, and we'll get people rolling. All right. So you guys, we're gonna dive into 50 States of Fear, and when I went around and did some research and looking for different types of cryptids and things like that, I of course I ran across the Fouke Monster. Who hasn't heard about that, heard about the Beast of Boggy Creek or the Legend of Boggy Creek. But I also found some other things that, and if you guys know anything about these, by all means, jump in. I'd like to get your guys' perspective on it. So what I found was something called the White River Monster. And that was like a sighting back in 1915 by like a plantation owner, a fisherman in Newport, Arkansas. And from what I can find, this is pretty much what his report was. He goes, I worked that stretch of the White River my whole life and thought I knew every sandbar and snag between seasons. That day in 1915, the water was running smooth and quiet. I was standing on the bank watching a couple of hands work the nets when it surfaced. The surface just changed like a bulge or something that rolled under like a blanket, and then it broke the water surface. What came up wasn't a log, and it sure wasn't any fish I'd ever seen. I saw gray skin, rough and wrinkled, as wide as a car, and at least 3 cars long, lifted out of the water and rolled slowly like something too big to bother hurrying. It had no scales, just a thick hide like an elephant that had taken to the river. For a few seconds, I could see the curves on its back and the way the water boiled around it. The men on the boat started shouting. One lost his footing and went when the wake hit. Whatever this thing was, it moved enough water to rock the boat hard. Then it slipped under again. No dramatic splash. It was just gone, leaving the river swirling behind it. When I told people what I had saw, they all laughed at me, like I had had too much sun or too much to drink. But word got out, and pretty soon locals were taking nets, traps, and even blowing the water, blowing what? Even blowing the water to see if they could bring it up. We never did. Uh, but after that, every time I looked out over the smooth brown river, I knew I wasn't just looking at the water. So, is that something you guys have heard of before?
I just did an episode on this one about 4 months ago.
Yeah. And what is that pretty much the same encounter report
I
that
mean, there's been other encounters up there, but now there's been like dams. There's with the way the river's set up, a lot of changes from today versus where it was 100 years ago, 100 plus years ago. The guy that I had on used to work as a museum tour guide up there, and part of that is the lore, whiting and stuff like that. So yeah,
Okay.
it's a really cool. It's really cool. But I mean, most of your waterways and lakes and everything, major ones, in our country, have some sort of strange creature,
Yeah. Yeah.
or sighting. My favorite one's the octopus in Oklahoma.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Josh, have you heard about
Weird.
that story?
I have not heard that. I mean, I've heard the name, but I've not dived into it to listen to the story. But I have heard of the name and familiar with the area where it happened at, but not the story. No.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, I just want to say hello to everybody that's jumping in the chat. Got Dimebag Darrow, one of the greatest guitarists in my opinion. Josh Scooters, what's up? Hey, if you guys are new to the chat, go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat. Let us know where you're from. That guy judging you. Okay, that's cool. Main house, nice to see you. Again, everybody, thanks for coming in. Jenny, thanks for coming in. Yes, Steamboat, I know it's your birthday, and yeah, I'll sing you a little birthday tune. And it's not going to be happy birthday because I don't want to get hit for a copyright, but happy birthday to you, Steamboat, you slacker from East Texas. Happy birthday to you, Steamboat, you old, I can't say because there's young ears listening, but hey, man, happy birthday, man. Hope you have a great day.
Back.
Victoria from Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania. Elmo says, happy birthday, Steamboat. We got Josh from
God,
Utah. Hey, we still got Rod in the chat. Rod's my Aussie brother. So, yeah, he's had some really cool Yowie. But anyway, so let's kind of get back into some of this. Susan, what's going on? South Kakalaki in the house. So this is another encounter that I found, which is really cool. The Barmlet Batman. Have you guys ever heard of something like that?
Never heard that. No.
No, I don't know that one at all.
So by 1937, everybody around Newport had heard of the thing in the river, but that summer it stopped being just a story. I was down near the river when Barmon Bateman. I'm sorry. I guess this is the guy who also saw it. The plantation owner started talking about seeing it himself. So I guess we're still talking about the white river monster. So I guess this guy Barmlet Bateman saw it. He said he was people were gathered by the bank day after day, kids, old folks, out of towners with cameras, and even a couple of guys who said they had machine guns in case it finally showed up. One afternoon, it did show up. It rolled up out of a quiet eddy. This huge gray mass, rough skin like that of an elephant and white as a car, just lollied to the surface like it didn't care who saw it. Some said that it had a face of a catfish. However, swore it moved like some type of giant sturgeon. So here's the thing, is it possible there are giant sturgeon in the White River?
Not that I know of. I mean, but I'm not a fisherman, so I don't think so.
Where they're calling him Old Whitey, gray peeling looking skin. Now it's as big as a boxcar. and it has horns and bone ridges on its head. They say it might be 20 feet long.
Well, there's always urban legends when
Yeah.
it comes to. Okay, so we've got here in Central Arkansas, we've got the Big Dam Bridge, and they got the power plant right there. And there's been stories all divers will go down and try and work and do repairs, and they come back up scared, like, no, there's catfish down there the size of Volkswagens. I mean, so anytime that you're dealing with a murky water that you really can't see clearly in, you see something, and it could be,
Yeah.
something
It's funny
else.
you said that because at the Arkansas Nuclear One plant, that same rumor floated around forever. When I was a cop at Darnell, that was right there. That was the same thing, man. It was like they were down there welding, and then catfish big enough to swallow you whole. So it's funny how that rumor floats around like that at different places. But
Yeah, it's the same here because I grew up 3 miles from the Arkansas River, right over the line, Oklahoma. And when we were teenagers, we personally talked to some of the guys that worked on the dam, and they told us that too. I mean, they probably might have just been saying that to scare us, but they said it right there, But I've seen people, pull out catfish, almost 7 foot long at the Arkansas River, and a lot of the activity that I've heard from the old timers, and that wasn't that far from my, encounter, was by the Arkansas River. So a lot of activity has been, around the river, cryptic activity.
I mean, and that's crazy because you see these sturgeon. I've seen sturgeon up close. They are gigantic, and they are living dinosaurs, like for real. Some of them, they say, could be up to over 100 years old. And it's just amazing. But I want to do a real quick shout. We got some people in from the UK. We got Kevin. Kev, welcome to the show. We got Nicholas popping in. What's up? We got Cole Keenly. We got who else we got up here? Susan Williams. Hello, how are you? And if I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. Unreal Estate Agent 770. How you doing? And Creepy Culture PC. What's up? And we got Ghost Geek in. Welcome. Let's get into another one of these little encounters here, you guys. How about the Ozark Cave Beast?
Well, I was going to piggyback real quick on talking about pulling out 7 foot catfish out of the river.
Sure.
When I moved here in 04 and 05, me and my dad went fishing down the river, and it was boring, nothing. And to where we walked away from where our poles are set at, got you some shade, and we turned around, and my pole literally cracked in half. I mean, it hit that hard to where, it snapped my pole. And I've never seen it happen before. So,
There's some big ones there.
There's some monsters in the Arkansas River, man, and in that area.
There was even a report they found like a dead monkey on the banks of the river.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a guest talk to me about that. Then finally, when he was a kid, they found the body of like what they called was a monkey, and I was like, "You sure about that?"
A monkey.
Yeah.
A monkey.
I told you, Daniel.
Monkey.
I told you, Daniel.
Yeah, I guess I'm weird. I'm glad I'm only going to be in Arkansas for like 2 days. If it's weird like that.
It's weird, man. Arkansas gets weird.
Since we're talking about that too, here's a cool thing about Arkansas. We have one of the largest natural forest estates in the country besides Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
We are seriously. Not only that though, but you can't dig anywhere around Arkansas without finding quartz. You're going to dig at quartz. So if you're into the paranormal stuff, obviously quartz is used for a lot of that, everything. And Arkansas is probably one of the most paranormal cryptid places I've ever actually been to.
I know of one place. I know of somebody who investigated what they considered either one of the most, or if not the most haunted hotels, and it's up there in Eureka Springs.
I was there in May. Yep. Yeah,
that's
I know happened in May.
Wild place. Arkansas doesn't get the credit it deserves, and until you've been here, you just don't understand. Like, it really is like Woods everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's woods. Like everywhere, there are woods. Literally everywhere. Almost anywhere you can drive. It's beautiful. Really is. Perfect place for a cryptid. Perfect.
I think there's, a lot of people will say that, you think about Arizona, okay? Well, there can't be a cryptid there like Bigfoot, but there is because you have the Mogollon Rim. There's people who like Chavez Marco, who's a member of my channel. He's been a guest co-host a couple times. He was in New Mexico and had some, and you've heard stories of Border Patrol agents of seeing these things out in the middle of the desert through night vision, and they have like absolutely no answers to what it is. So,
Well, Arizona is a unique state too, though. The southern part's going to be desert, and then once you hit central Arizona, you start crossing over and getting back into the Rockies.
yeah,
So, and then you get to the high plains, to where it's a high plains desert up in, northern Arizona, and it's gorgeous. Like Flagstaff is beautiful.
yeah,
A lot of people seem to forget that. Like when we left Tombstone, headed for Flagstaff, we skyrocketed up in elevation.
yeah,
So I left Tombstone wearing shorts and flip flops. Went to Flagstaff, I had to put a hoodie on.
yeah.
They were forecasting snow a couple days later.
It's weird.
Yeah, when I was a kid living in Washington State, I was doing mountain climbing with actually the lady and her husband who owned the house I was living in. My dad was renting it from him, and we were climbing up Mount Rainier, and like in a 12-hour time frame, I went from wearing shorts and sandals to almost something like snow pants and boots and thick jackets, and it's crazy. So it just depends on where you're going and what kind of environment that is. And definitely when you think about where these creatures, where are they can be anywhere. They've proven it.
Josh was saying too, though, about Arkansas is how wooded we are here. One is right, but also we have a lot of caves too.
Oh,
Tons.
for sure.
We're not the largest cave state, but we have a bunch, especially up there around y'all's area.
Yeah.
Blanchard Springs.
Devil's Den. Yep.
Yep.
Tons of places to go and hide for sure. And it's the demographics and the layout of Arkansas is very unique too, because you get up north, central north, it's very mountainous. What we call mountains. You get down south, it's super flat, but it's still wooded. The whole thing is just wooded. Wherever you go, it's just pine trees and thick woods, and it's very, very thick wood. So it's easy for something to hide. You could be right next to one of these things and never even know it because of the woods are so thick. So
You got someone saying hello to you.
Hey, Ali, how you doing, brother? Thanks for coming.
So, hey, let's do this before I get into reading some more things like this. Who wants to share either a story that they know of from Arkansas, or whether it happened in Arkansas, not share your personal or one of your personal encounters? Don't make me pick.
I got a bunch in Arkansas and outside the state. So
you just pick, Daniel.
Okay, Matt, let's hear yours. Anyone you want to tell?
All right, so I'll tell two, a short one, and then I'll go into a little bit of a detailed one from my last investigation north of Heber Springs. So I got a Jeep, and last year, over a year ago, me and my buddy Jacob went to a Jeep event, hanging out, and I figured it'd be a good thing for the podcast, stickers, the Jeepers, that kind of thing. Met a guy, and he's like, "Hey man, do you know about the bald knob skinwalker?" And I was like, "Well, first off, I don't believe in skinwalkers this far to the east. They're going to be out west. That's where I live." So we got a discussion. He goes, "Well, I had a weird encounter. I want to share it with you." And I was like, "Cool, man. I'll put you on the show." Would not talk to me on the phone. He wanted to sit across from me and look me in the eye and tell me the story because no one would believe him. So, and this was, Chris. This guy's name's Chris, and he has turned out to be an investigator and research for us for the show, which turned out to be a great thing. But his encounter was he went hunting, he got set up, And as soon as he got in the spot, it's dark. If you go out hunting in the woods, sit down, rifle's right there in front of him, waiting for the morning to come, the sun start popping up, and he heard rustling off to his left. As he was, it was like, okay, it's probably raccoon, it's going to be, armadillo, something, possum. He started turning his head, and this thing come rushing up to him. It was all black, to where scared him, to where he was pulling his sidearm out, and by the time it got the sidearm over his waist, it was towering over him. And he said his estimate with him sitting down with it standing up was probably good 6-7 feet, leaning over him. No breathing, no nothing, just this dark figure towering over him. And he said he froze, he didn't move, and then it kind of backed off into the woods, and he kind of turned to watch it leave and disappear into the woods. Scared the crap out of him. So doing the research, we looked into it, and it could possibly be a Nalusa, which ties into a tribe that's further east, out in Tennessee and stuff. But the area was also part of the Trail of Tears when everybody was being pushed on the Trail of Tears coming through. And Bald Knob also happens to be a meeting point where all these tribes would come in and meet. So I think a cryptid came in with him. But the family property, though, when I went up there to interview the guy, the property owner, his dad had it from his dad all the way, from the early late 1800s on forward. And when his dad would go out hunting up there, he'd come back, and first thing he'd say was, "Don't tell your mama, but I saw the shadow people again." Right? And then before that, I saw the shadow things. It rains, they go out there and they find arrowheads everywhere. And the only way you're going to find arrowheads in one area is if it was a meeting area for a lot of Native Americans. You know what I mean? So that's that little story of a unique, strange cryptid here in Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we got the research that we've been doing, and we did my second time going up there. Well, the first time we went up there, as soon as we got into the area, we got growled at from the woods. Found a really unique knuckle track in the mud. I got a really cool print of that one. Dano, I think I sent you the pictures of it.
Probably, if I don't
The
recall.
knuckle track. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So really cool knuckle track, you guys. And then that night we got huffed at, which is really cool. The unique smells, crazy. I mean, your classic, Sasquatch stuff without visibly seeing it. We go back up there, and we have tremendous spirits come down from Kansas City, bring a whole bunch of paranormal equipment, thermal, night vision, the whole caboodle. And it was a really quiet day, nothing really happening, nothing exciting. Sun goes down, we wait an hour after sundown. We go back in. I've got area gridded off, area 1, area 2, 4 areas that we're investigating around this property. And me and my little team, we go down to area 2. And Chris comes out, we were seeing eye shine. There was a deer. I mean, it was a rabbit. No deer. It was a rabbit, we saw like 2 armadillos. Obviously, a couple rabbits down there. Well, Chris comes up and he goes, "Hey, I got eye shine." So I'm fully expecting another rabbit. And he was about 7 feet from me. He was got his light up. And I had my red lamp on. And I stepped over and looked where he was at. And it was huge. Wasn't high off the ground, but it was probably about chest high. Probably 2 inches in diameter eyes, 6 inches apart. And it was probably about 12, 15 feet in front of us. And was just looking at us. It flowed from left to right. Didn't head bob, it didn't move. And I'm slowly walking my way up towards it. Drops down lower. And when it dropped down lower, I'm probably about 9 to 8 feet from it by now. And the eyes blinked. And I'm not going to lie, you guys, as soon as the eyes blinked, I did this little, okay, you're real. I mean, it was kind of surreal. Then it flowed again from left to right and dropped lower. And I'm trying to get closer to it. And as soon as I got, probably within 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet of this thing, just gone. No rustling the leaves, no rushing off, no breaking branches, nothing. And where it dropped down and hit at was behind a fallen tree, and I'm trying to shine my light through the tree, which is hard to do because the tree's, reflecting the light back at you, taking the light up. So I'm trying to pierce through, And then that's when we had the guys on the front yelling out, "Contact, contact, contact," and saying they were seeing a shadow figure walking across the yard. And I'm yelling on the radio, "Record, record, record." and we got a really weird orb, of all things, an orb. And we were just looking at this stuff the other day, and then when the trail cam, we actually think we were looking at it. Me and Jacob and Tommy, we think that we got something on the trail cam as we're walking by. We pass it, we trigger it, and then Chris and Jacob stop and they're looking. It's like something that has their attention, and they continue walking, following behind us, and you see in the background of this tree, you see like this shadow thing kind of, and this is daylight, kind of peeking out. And then on thermal, we actually recorded on thermal. This tall thing is white hot on thermal, and you can see it's behind a tree, and it's kind of playing peekaboo with us on their property.
Awesome.
So, yep.
That's awesome. So we had someone in the chat ask, have we ever heard of anything around White County, Arkansas? Funny that you should ask, because I found some stuff. Here we go. This is in the fall of 2015. A deer hunter encounters what he believes to be several Bigfoot, possibly a family unit near, is it Searcy? Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Cersei.
Oh, yeah,
Get out of here. Hey, listen, get out of here with that northern stuff, man. Cersei, Arkansas. And it's not Arkansas either. It's Arkansas. So you got to get that.
Listen here, son. So the story goes like this. It's Cersei, right?
Bald Knobs in White County. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I just talked about, we've got, so where we were looking at where the Nalusa came up on Chris, and what Chris described it as, there's another group of guys here in Arkansas called the Arkansas Bigfoot Cartel, and they do their own little quiet thing, and great group of guys, awesome guys. Well, we were just visiting and talking, and we happened to bring that up, and we mentioned Bald Knob, and the guy goes, wait, and he mentioned this reservation area, wildlife preserve, and we were like, yeah. So where they're investigating at is right next to the property we were investigating at, with the same type of encounters without knowing each other.
Okay.
In White County. Now, White County also, for some years, the birds would die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, it was like
they would just fall out of the sky.
Really?
Yeah.
So
hundreds and hundreds of birds.
Luis, I'm going to read a couple of reports from White County. And you know what? If this hurts anybody's feelings, listen, I lived a good amount of time of my life in Tennessee. So I'm going to turn on my accent. So here's this my sighting. My sighting happened 9 months ago near Searcy, Arkansas. I was hunting on Thanksgiving Day. It was getting dark when I had a rock thrown over my head, which freaked me out. So I quickly turned around and lifted my shotgun and light and looked up and down the tree line until I came up on this big oak. And I saw what looked like a Sasquatch looking at me from behind that oak tree. And it yelled at me with a low grunt and a high pitch. It screamed. So I jumped and actually took a shot and hit the tree. And it took off running back down the tree line towards the valley. So, again, this guy got interviewed by someone from the BFRO, and he's stating that he knew that there was no bears, cougars, or any other big cats in the area, or even in that, in that county. And that's when he saw more activity, more things moving around after he took that shot. So I guess what he was thinking is he saw one, it was maybe getting his attention. And then when he took that shot at it, the other ones kind of took off as well. So that's a pretty short one. Then there was one in December. A motorist has a close sighting at dusk on AR 258 outside Bald Knob. So this sighting goes around 5 p.m. I was driving down Highway 258 to go to the store. I wonder if he's picking up some Marlboro Reds and some PBR. Let's see here. We have had some recent flooding, so I was driving slower than normal and watching for deer. Along the way, I seen 2 different deer. One had 3. I could see on the other that it had 6. So I'm guessing that it had the 2 different areas. On one side it had 3 deer, the other had 6. So on the way back from the store, I knew to slow down in those areas just in case. In one area, it was rather sharp curve, and I had seen the most deer there. As I came up to the curve, I slowed down, and suddenly something jumped out in front of the car. I called it a he from here out. He seemed to have been running from the pine tree line and took what I could only call a leap out onto the road, and then he was gone. It was only 1, maybe 2 steps on the road, and it cleared it. I had to slam on the brakes and just sit there in awe, wondering if I had really seen what I had just seen. He was standing on 2 legs, had lots of fur, and what I could assume was at least 8 feet tall. When he jumped in front of the car, he was about a car length in front of me. He looked to have had a large fish in his hand. I know how that sounds, but I swear it was a long fish. My husband said that it had been a stick, but I'm a country girl and I know my fish, and his fur was longer than what a bear's fur would be. Although he was dark brown, it had a reddish hue to it. The headlights gave us a good look at the color as it leapt across the road. There's a lake back behind where he had come from, but he also jumped across right where the 6+ deer were standing. So there you go. That's up there by Bald Knob.
Bald Knob.
There you go.
Bald Knob's an active area.
Is it? And how far away is that from you? From you?
About 45 minutes.
45 minutes. What about you, Josh?
It's quite a bit of ways. It's pretty long ways. Yeah.
Ashes, what about
Pretty
you?
long way. About an hour.
About an hour?
I think. Yeah.
Right on, right on. How's the chat going, you guys? How's everybody doing? Boone County. Hey, White's in here. White, you're working. Please tell me you're working. Because I asked White to be on here tonight. He's like, oh man, that's one of the weekends I gotta work. Constantine's in. Yeah, I think he runs heavy equipment. So
he's a good guy, man. He's a really good guy.
White is. If you guys haven't, I'm gonna give a shout out to these guys' podcast. So you got Drunken Cryptids podcast. Check them out here on YouTube. Also check out the Boom Boom Room or Ash's Antics, and then also check out Mysteries Unknown. But also check out Boone County Cryptids. I'm working, brother. I know you are, man. Robbie, what's going on? So yeah, listen. We don't care about banana pudding.
Speak for yourself.
So,
speak for yourself.
Yeah, you guys can have your banana pudding. You guys can have it. So, Ashes, do you want to tell any of your encounters that you had?
Yeah, I can tell the one that I had that I think was a Bigfoot encounter.
Sure.
All right. Actually, it wasn't too far over the line, so technically it was in Oklahoma, but we'll just say it's Oklahoma encounter. That's what we'll call it. But no, it was 2011. I know I've told it before, but I know some people might not have heard it on here. But it was 2011, about 2:30 in the morning. At the time, I was smoking the ciggies. So I got up and went outside to smoke on my porch because I had a new mobile home at the time. And I'd say about 50, 60 yards, there was some woods. And actually, our family owned it. My uncles and, my mom and everybody are all passed away now. But probably went back 200 yards back up in there. But if you follow that, you could go and not come out in a clearing and go all the way to the Arkansas River, which is about 3 miles. And that's where the Spiral Mounds is, Native American burial grounds, which a lot of stuff's happened around there. But anyway, I was smoking, a cigarette, and all of a sudden I started hearing like an elephant, basically coming through those, just. I thought it was a vehicle. I thought it was a side by side or one of those mules, but I didn't hear an engine. It actually sounded like a freaking Volkswagen Beetle coming through there. But I looked, because it kind of stunned me. I said, man, what is going on here? Because there's no way a vehicle could get in there. I was thinking maybe the neighbor was drunk or something, and done something stupid. But I looked, and I started seeing those smaller trees, started moving and parting. And I'm still looking, but I hear no engine. I hear nothing motorized at all. So my brain's, what's going on here? What is this? Anyway, before this, I believed in Bigfoot, but I just thought it was some undiscovered, ape or something. And I never went down the rabbit hole or nothing before this. But anyway, finally, the whole encounter probably 5-6 seconds, maybe. By the time it gets to the edge, it stops. And it stopped for about a second because I was waiting to see something come out in the clearing, because then it was a gravel road, and that's where my family lived, on this gravel road, owned about 5 or 6 lots. And when it stopped, all I can describe it is like a lion roaring. Whatever, how loud it was, I was, like I said, I had to be 50, 60 yards. It rattled my whole insides because I used to go to NASCAR races all the time. I used to funny car races. That's what it reminded me of without the engine, it's just my whole guts and inside. And I remember I was just stunned. I just couldn't move, man. I was just stunned. I didn't, I thought it was the boogeyman, I thought it was the end or something, but some way I just kind of come out of it. And I remember I walked in, opened up the door, walked in, and I don't remember what happened after that. I guess I remember like waking up, and I didn't tell anybody for 3 or 4 days. And then I told my wife at the time, and she looked at me and laughed, which she is an idiot anyway. That's why we're not married anymore. But anyway, but that was my first official encounter of Bigfoot. Have I had any other encounters before? I think I have, but that right there, at first I didn't know what to think, and then in the last year or two, I kept analyzing. I've talked to other people in the community, and I believe probably 100% that it was Bigfoot. I mean, there's no other thing it could be, because there's no, black bears, but ain't no black bear going to roar like a freaking lion, and there's rare to be around. And, I wanted to bring this up, guys, too, about, the 2 bear attacks that's been on the news here in Arkansas,
So and weird.
And they said they haven't had bear attacks like that since the late 1800s, reportedly killing. I think it was killed 2 people within a month, something like that.
So Ash, you'll love this one. Did you read too, to where the one they killed a bear?
Yeah,
saying that was the one that killed one of the hikers, and they found out that wasn't the bear.
Wrong bear.
Wrong bear. Did not know that, but the guy come on there, and he's saying the parks guy or whatever, wildlife guy. Oh, he was taking a picture of the black bear while it was on the fender. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's family or not, because I know they lost a loved one. But man, he's gonna be sitting there taking a picture of a bear. He's gonna be on a fender, and I don't know. It's all fishy to me. I don't get it, guys.
I will tell you this: leave it to Arkansas to have a meth bear.
Yeah,
of all things.
Yeah,
a meth bear.
Is that what it was?
The first bear tested positive for meth. They got the first bear.
What?
The second, yeah, it tested positive for meth. The second one, if I know the story right, and Matthew, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this bear drug this guy off, and they found him kind of drug off from where initially was attacked, and they can't say it was a bear, but it was a large predator. In Arkansas, we have, they won't admit it. We have cougar. They won't say that we do, but we have cougar here. We have panther, and then you got a wolves, and then a black bear. But yeah, they thought they had it, and it was not the bear. So
did you guys see that Wyatt, Boone County Cryptid, said that attack or whatever was 7 miles from his property in Newport?
Didn't know that.
That's crazy. What's up, Steph the contractor? Paul, what's going on? I've seen a lot of new names jumping. I'm seeing a lot of old names that I haven't seen in a while. Chick, welcome to the channel. Yeah, true story. Game of fish they are ridiculous. Absolutely. So Nicholas asked for some audio. So you guys, I'm gonna play some audio if y'all don't mind.
Let's do it
again. Who knows exactly what's going to happen on these live streams? Yeah, we're going to talk about stuff from Arkansas and things like that. But I don't have any audio from Arkansas, but I've got some amazing audio.
What? I do. I would have to pull it up and try and save it. It's off a ring cam.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so I have to dig it out. I won't be able to play it now for it. But before you do that, so since you mentioned sounds in Arkansas,
yeah.
So Josh, Ash, you might be able to help me with this one. All right, we do have elk.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. And we have elk.
What?
Yeah, we have elk in Arkansas.
Yeah, we have elk, but ready? They are, we're talking like Jasper. Near Missouri is where
Boxley,
they're at. And
Jasper.
they come down, and that's about a little bit. They don't come further down. So this is off of a ring camera about 40 minutes from where I live, north of here. Right, and you guys know where I'm at, so there's no way. And it sounds like a weird elk on a ring cam at night. My first thought was elk. Everything I've been playing is similar to elk, but it sounds like a messed up elk with another elk responding back to it. So like two elks are talking to each other. And it's long drawn out too. I got to pull it out and I'll have to send it to you guys.
White said that they're in Boxley.
Yeah. Boxley is about, I think, I don't know, maybe an hour north of where I'm at, maybe something like that.
Really?
Yeah, which is right
not real
far.
All right, you guys, let's hear some audio, and I'll tell you where I got it from. Well, I got this from just a person that I interviewed last night. I'm going to play it. You guys tell me what you think it is, and I'll tell you what he told me it was. Okay, ready?
Very, very old. Something's ahead of us.
Hey, it wouldn't play it. What? Let's try this one. Okay, for some reason, I'm unable to mute you guys because you muted yourself. So let's see here. Play that once. Let me try a different one. All right. Can you guys unmute your mics? I can't unmute your mics.
Gotcha.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
So that audio, you guys, that was sent to me by none other than Mr. Ron Moorhead himself. He was able to get that audio. You guys, here's the equipment that he used. Okay, an old tape recorder and like an old microphone that was suspended up in a tree. That's it.
Wow.
He did it
And
old school.
This is like 1971 up in the Sierra Nevadas. Yeah.
Imagine being out in the middle of the woods and hearing that. Like, I
Yeah.
just can't even.
Yeah.
No.
You know, I've had the pleasure to talk with Ron, you know, probably a dozen times.
He's a good dude.
And have him here, not necessarily on the channel a dozen times, but set up a room like this with him and Daryl Denton and just talk and try to work on getting things done for their podcast, which now they do have their stuff up and running. Like a radio personality was able to help them get them on some type of network. So if you guys are interested in checking out their podcast, it's Two Real Cryptid Legends, and it's on YouTube. So check it out. It's number 2 Real Cryptid Legends. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome once they really get that thing up and going. I got some more here. This is from a friend of mine and Josh's, and I think if anybody else has met him or talked to him, you know he's a really super nice guy, Mr. Daryl Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And this is from his property in Oregon called Owl Moon Labs. That was one of the big guys letting him know that it wasn't happy. And then here's a couple more of howls. And so there's that one. And I have another one from Daryl. Now, if you guys have heard that howl before, there's a show, it's one of my favorite shows called Expedition Bigfoot. And you'll hear it in the opening credits of that show. That howl that you hear is the howl I just played for you. So they use that in the opening credits of their show, which I thought is pretty interesting. So I was watching it one night. I was watching like a replay, and I heard that. I'm like, wait a minute, I've got that in my soundboard. So I messaged him real quick. I said, man, I just heard your howl on TV. He's like, oh yeah. I go, Expedition. Oh yeah. They also use some of my stuff to try to call in other Bigfoots. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool. He's such a great guy. He really is. Daryl is just a salty there. Just a straight up good dude, man. I really like Daryl a lot.
So I got this comment in here. So Michael Doyle, I heard that before. Oregon and Washington, 2 separate places, but I actually saw Dogman at Fort Campbell. Michael, here is my email address. Everybody who has their mics muted, unmute them. Here's my email address. If you could please send me an email at thecryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. Not only would I like to hear it because, one, it's a Dogman encounter, but 2, it's at Fort Campbell. I'm assuming you're Army. And who's at Fort Campbell?
101st Airborne
Yeah.
Division, and it's right by the LBL.
Yeah, that's I knew it was. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to say the other Airborne Division.
No, it's 101.
Yeah, it's this one right here. I got it on my forearm.
Screaming Eagles.
I don't know if you can see it. Come on. There we go.
See, 101.
Memory of my dad, my stepdad. So, yeah, it's the Cryptid Podcast 72@gmail.com. Michael, I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to see here. Encounters only, no proof. So, what do you still email me? Let me know what your encounters are, because here's the thing: if it's a Class B, if it's if you saw something, let's hear it, because you never know how important your encounter could be. It could be just one more step away from us getting to know a lot more about what's going on out there. So by all means, don't think that, oh, it's no proof, so it doesn't mean anything. No, every little piece of the puzzle counts.
And if you want to talk to an Army grunt, email me.
Yeah, he's 11 Bravo. Me, I was a security police officer in the United States Air Force, so
Yeah, so I gave you a hard time there, Dano.
yeah, you can give me a hard time, but I also went up to Fort Dix, New Jersey, and went through ground combat training and air base ground defense training. So
Yeah, that just sounds like an oxymoron. Never mind. Sorry.
yeah. Oh, 11 Bravo also. Oh, look, we got Tom Jenkins, Air Cav, 7th, right? 7th Air Cav.
Air Cav in the house.
Man, come on. Come on, Air Force. Let's go. All right. And you guys, I'm going to play a couple more audios that I have. So these are from a buddy of mine named Jimmy Williams. If you've been around, you probably know him. He has some audio that he shared with me that he calls this area that this audio, it's from an area that they call Xanadu, and it's in Oklahoma. And I believe it's still Oklahoma. I think it's close to Arkansas as well. So here's this. You're going to hear a couple of distinctive sounds, and then I'll kind of tell you a little bit about this.
I heard. Ooh, that's a different sound.
Okay, so what was cool about that, one, they got that first sound, that wahoo, and then there was another one behind it, like shortly after, but his dad was talking over it. And then the last whoop that they got, I asked Jimmy, I was talking to him, and I go, hey, man, I said, how close was that whoop? Was that like, 50, 60 yards? And he's like, no, it was like 20 feet. So it was like 20 feet away from their campsite when that whoop went off. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. And now this audio that I'm going to play, you definitely hear, number one, you'll hear what sounds like an elk bugle. Then you'll hear other animals popping off, which I assume are coyotes. But then you hear something very distinctive all of a sudden just decide to join the party. And check this out.
That's wild. That is wild.
Just
So I haven't heard any of them other than that video that you played. Other than that, I
you
haven't
did
been able to hear any of them.
you didn't hear the last one I heard that I
Didn't hear
played?
any. No, just the
Oh.
one with the guys a couple feet away from their camping spot.
Did you hear the Ron Moorhead one?
No,
What?
no, I'm just being polite, sitting over here.
Man. You guys.
Mm.
Shell, hello, how's it going? Yeah, the Bigfoot Tabernacle Choir. Yeah, it's crazy. Matt, I feel bad, man.
Don't feel bad. You can make up for it when you come down here.
Oh yeah, I will, for sure. God, that's creepy. Yeah, there's some creepy things. Policing trained military men, you got to be tough. Absolutely, that's right, Constantine. That's right.
Really?
I feel like an oddball out over here. I never joined the military, so I feel like the odd guy out.
But whoa, bikes. I am not a pogue, man. You got me all kinds of messed up, man.
called you a
Whatever,
pogue?
bro. Bikes and bullets. He called me a pogue. Oh, treachery, sir. I don't take offense to it, man. I don't take.
Hey, look, you know what? I tell you what, it's all fun and game to make fun of pogues until it's like, snowing. It's like 10 degrees outside. You're in a blizzard, and you're looking over at the guys who are not out in the snow and frozen mud,
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you
Yeah.
right now, I've
At least I'm not a pogue.
I've had my fair share of standing out on a flight line in sub-zero weather with blowing snow and things like that. So, and trust me, I've been out on a missile field where I've been snowed in for 10 days. I'm supposed to be out there for just an 8-hour relief shift because someone got injured and because I was 60 gunner certified. So I had to go out there and relieve this guy of his post for just 8 hours. I wound up being out there for 10 days because we got a blizzard and we got snowed in. So yeah.
Sounds like Germany.
Phew, don't tell me about Germany, man. I already know. So, but yeah, you guys. So let's hear Josh's. Josh, let's hear a couple of your encounters, or just one. Doesn't matter. You have one that kind of ties into each other.
I mean, all three of them do. Technically, all of them
Yeah.
do. Yeah, I'll just start with the first time I saw this thing. I grew up in a very rural area of Arkansas, close to the Ozarks National Forest, and spent a lot of time outside as a kid. I mean, I grew up outside, grew up on four-wheelers. Really, really great childhood. Loved my childhood. My dad had built this house on a property, had a neighbor to the right and neighbor to the left. Back behind that, there was just a huge open field. A lot of Indian artifacts out there, all kinds of arrowheads, things like that. But you go past that was the Arkansas River. On the other side of the Arkansas River was more woods that I just was really familiar with, and I spent a lot of time out there. But when I was about 14 years old, my parents started to leave me home alone, and we didn't have cell phones back then. There was no none of that stuff. There wasn't the internet. You just didn't have any of that stuff, and so I just spent most of my time outside. But one evening I was coming from the kitchen to the living room, and when you come across around there was a sliding glass door, and the curtains were open, and about 30 yards behind the house was tree line, and over to the right there was an open spot that led over to the field, and you could see from that spot just this big open field. And I just happened to look, and something caught my eye over to the right, and I see this massive thing standing there, and it was probably I don't know how big it was at the point, but it was just black. It was massive, and it was backlit, so it was a silhouette. And so I stopped, and I'm looking at this thing, and it's looking at me, and because the moon is backlit, it can see. I'm sure it could see me. So this thing glides over to the back of the deck of the house. My dad had built this deck, and the property sloped down, and so the deck was about 6 foot high. And then you had the railing, and this thing stood over the railing of the deck and was back there looking at me, and I was looking at it, and I really didn't see features. It was more of a silhouette of the thing, but I locked eyes with it, and the only thing I know to say is I locked eyes with it because I just couldn't look at anything else. I couldn't look away, and I don't know how long I had looked at this thing, but all of a sudden I hear a thought pop in my head: go grab your dad's gun. And my dad's gun was upstairs. The house was 2 stories. So I was able to snap away from this thing and go upstairs and get the gun. It was a 410 shotgun, and it wouldn't have done anything, like nothing. There's no way it had done anything, but it made me feel better. So I grabbed the shotgun, and I think Dad had bird shot, I think is all we had. So I wanted to make sure that when I come downstairs that I loaded the gun in front of this thing so it could see me loading it. Because all I knew as a kid, Dad would tell me, if you load a gun in front of somebody, especially a shotgun, they're more than likely going to leave you alone. So I load this thing up, and when I do this thing slowly turns around and glides back off into the tree line. And when I mean glide, it didn't have an up and down gait. It literally just glided away But the thing that stuck with me that I remember very distinctly, and sometimes I get some slack, catch some slack on my channel because I sometimes say these things are evil, and I get a lot of pushback on that. And I'm not saying all of them are evil, but I'm saying that some of them have a propensity to be that. Like they can be evil. And all I knew is this thing, there was a deeper than primal fear when I looked at this thing. There was almost a hatred coming from this thing, and I felt it. It wasn't like oh man, I saw something scary type of a fear. This was a very primal, I'm going to rip your arms off of you, I hate you type of a feeling. And it just turned around, glided off into the tree line, and was just gone. The whole encounter, I have no idea how long it lasted. I couldn't tell you, but I buried it. And then a year later, I had another encounter, but that was my first initial
real quick,
encounter.
okay, so you might have said, and I might have missed it. You said you were looking at it in the eyes. I mean, were you able to see the eyes?
No, that's the only word I know to describe it because it was backlit. But I can tell you that the thing was, you take the biggest linebacker you've ever seen. It was wider than that. It was broader than that. It was hairy and it was jet black, but I couldn't see facial features. It was backlit, but I didn't know what other words to describe except we just locked eyes. Like it was a very intense type of a thing. It shook me to the core. It really messed me up for a long time. And later on in my encounter, I talk about something else that triggered it years later, but I buried it. I absolutely buried it. And, I forgot about it for about 15 years, probably. It just gone. But really strange because as time goes on, more and more pieces of the puzzle start coming back to me. But I have really severe ADHD. My brain buries trauma. I spent 17 years in law enforcement. My brain will trauma dump. As soon as something happens, it buries it. It's just almost an instant response for me, and I struggle with that. But I've had to write this stuff down.
A lot of
same thing. And so it's kind of like that same type thing. But when I had the last time I saw this thing or one just like it was years later, about 6 years ago, and all of the memories start flooding back. Everything comes back. And that's how my podcast got started, because I started having all these memories of all these encounters. And like, it's really weird. My encounter involves UFOs, my dad, 3 encounters, all within a span of a 5-mile radius. So it's a really
You're going to
unique.
come on the Drunken Cryptids and share it with everybody.
Man, I've really been sitting back and holding on to it because I do video production. It's what I do for a living. And I mean, I film documentaries. It's what I do. And so I'm trying to get to the point where I can do that and just get to the point where I'll do it. Me and Daniel's been talking about this for a long time, and it's something I've got to do, but it's a wild story. It really is. Like there's so much strange stuff that happens, close to the Ozark Mountains. And I was talking to Tony Merkel yesterday, and I was telling him about the last thing I saw, and he brought up the Ozark howler. And, he had this guy on the show, and the show is called The White Thing because this guy saw this white creature in the Ozarks, and it's called the Ozark howler. Well, the last time I saw this thing, it was white. And it's just kind of weird how all that ties together. I think I'm 15 minutes maybe from the Ozark Mountains, maybe real close to that. So, I mean, it's not a far stretch that maybe it's the same thing, but that's kind of a brief overview of my encounters. So,
yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm going to tell you guys what my most recent encounter was, and it was in Michigan.
mm-hmm.
And it was awesome. I think it's awesome. It's not a sighting. It's a Class B. So my wife and I, over Halloween, we drove up to Michigan, to visit my son and his fiance and their daughter. My granddaughter was turning 2, and I'll just call her my daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law's family lives on 38 acres of land that is adjacent to the Manistee National Forest. And the closest big city, I guess, or bigger city would be Cadillac from where they live. So we get up there. We get up there Friday night, Halloween, Friday afternoon, and we're kind of messing around up at their house, and I'm out there making calls. I'm hooping and hollering and tree knocking, and the dogs that are on farms quite a distance away, they start losing their mind because they hear this yell, this holler or whatever. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. So those dogs are wound up about hearing me. So I do that quite a bit on Friday. And then Saturday, again, I do it. And then we go out to dinner. So we all go out to dinner. We all go into Cadillac. We eat dinner. And we come back. It's nighttime, probably about like 9 o'clock at night. It's super dark out on this property. And my wife and I are getting ready to go back to the hotel. And I had to walk out to the van to get something. And as I walked out, I'm walking down the little sidewalk to the driveway. And all I do is I go, whoop, a little bit louder than that. I get to my car. I'm getting ready to open up the door. And I hear whack, whack, whack. 3 loud, like tree knocks about 200 yards away. And I just stopped there, and I had a grin from ear to ear. And I'm still smiling about it because I'm telling you guys, it was amazing. They were crystal clear, very sharp. Now, I haven't told any of them that. I haven't told any of them that. Not one bit. So my wife and I go back to the hotel. We get up in the morning, we head back over Saturday, and I'm talking with my son's father-in-law and his wife and AJ, how long ago? Dude, this is like on the first. It was on the 1st of this month. So I'm just talking to him and stuff, and I go, you guys, I can't for the life of me, I can't wrap my head around that you guys have not seen or heard anything on your 38 acres of land that butts right up to the Manistee National Forest. I can't, that doesn't compute with me, because the Manistee National Forest is a hotbed for Bigfoot, dogman, and a few other things, right? And her dad goes, oh no, I haven't seen anything. And she goes, no, remember that one time when we were going through pictures on your on one of your cameras? We were looking on the SD card, and remember that thing we saw? And he's like, oh, that was just like a bear. And she's like, no, that wasn't a bear. And I don't know if I have the picture. I hope I do. I hope I didn't delete it. I did delete it. Dang it. Let me see if I can get it up here real quick, you guys. Give me 1 second. But they're sitting there she's sitting there talking about how they were going through one of the SD cards, and they saw this creature, and he swears that it was like a bear, like a balding bear. And she's like, Dad, it wasn't a balding bear. Let's see if I can get this. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can save this here. Okay, we'll do this. Do this. I'm going to load this up real quick. You guys, when I show you what she showed me, what she believes, she said this is the closest thing that she could find that reminds her of what was on that picture. And it wasn't just one picture, it was multiple pictures. This is not the picture, but she said this is the closest thing that what was caught on their trail camera.
Nope.
Yep.
No thanks.
Now again, this is not the picture, but
Right.
she said this is the closest thing that I can describe on what was caught on the trail cam.
A rake?
Yep. And I go, do you guys have that? Do you have that SD card? yeah, it's here somewhere. It's here somewhere. And I go, please, please. So they actually went looking through all of the SD. They found like a Ziploc baggie full of SD cards. And her mom was going through each and every one of them. And she goes, these are not the ones. These are from different cameras. Where's the SD cards from your trail cameras? He's like, well, I don't know where they are. And he goes, they're in here somewhere. They're in here somewhere. And I go, do you think your dad deleted them? She's like, no, he doesn't delete anything. So as soon as they find them, they're going to look for them and they're going to send me all those pictures. I guess there's like 3 pictures.
It's wild, man.
Yeah. So
I still can't get over your story, Daniel, about when you were a kid. It's one of my favorite stories that you tell. Sitting in the chair and looking over and hearing the scratching in the window and all that.
Do you guys? Okay, in the chat, drop a 1 in the chat if you want to hear that story. If you don't want to hear that story, we'll go on. We'll start talking about more about Arkansas, but it was in a neighboring state. What's up, Kristen? It was in a neighboring state. Okay, so I got Ashes. Your vote don't count.
I'm in chat.
Donnie, what's up, man?
Oh,
okay. Well, I got a bunch of 1s, so here we go, guys. Okay. So, what's up? Is it Begrin? What's up? How you doing? Do a poll more accurate. Okay, I'll do a poll. Can I do a poll?
Should be able to. You should.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I know I can, but
Yeah, I'll be RV.
I don't know.
I
Where
gotta
do I
put my little
do?
man to bed.
Where do I? Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right. I'll see you right back. Okay. 1. I don't know where to do a poll at. Wait a second. Up here. Nope. I can't do that. Oh heck, I don't know where to do a poll.
You do it on your YouTube chat. There should be a plus sign.
Yeah, but I'm using
See. Yeah.
I'm using StreamYard.
Just tell the story. People want to hear
All
your
right.
story. Just
Well, I gotta wait. I gotta wait till Matt gets back
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
because he hasn't heard it.
Oh, if he's not heard it, then you gotta wait. Then
Yeah.
It's a wild story. I think it was the 3rd story you shared on my channel. I think something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I never want to encounter anything like that again.
No, I wouldn't either. Like, I'm more than content with just seeing Bigfoot. I have no desire to see any of that other stuff. Dogman, I'm pretty sure that I had a Dogman encounter. I just didn't see it, but I'm pretty sure after that really, really, really strange Dogman interview I did. I told you about that.
Yeah. Oh heck yeah! I'll tell you right now, I don't think that what I saw was a Dogman, but it was just too coincidental. When I was driving up through the UP. I'll tell you guys that one real quick. So again, my son lives in Michigan, so my wife and we drive back and forth. The year that I saw this, I think we had been to Michigan. I think this is like our 4th trip. What's up there, 9 Mile? That's my dude from work. That's my buddy. So we always take the route that goes the northern route. So we go up through the UP, and I'm telling you, every single time I drive through the UP, that's where I'm going to retire. Wade, thanks, man. Buddy, come on, you didn't have to do that, man. Thank you, buddy. But so we always go through the UP, and honestly, I think that's where I'm going to retire. I think I'm going to buy some property up there, and I'm just going to live there year round because I love the UP. So we were coming home. So we had just went through Escanaba, and we were on the west end of Escanaba. We were probably, I don't know, less than a mile outside of Escanaba. And it was it was early morning. I'm not going to say it was between this time frame or this time frame, but it was early morning. No cars on the road, none at all. And it was kind of foggy, it was just a weird fog, because off to the left of me was the lake. You go through some woods and things, and then the lake is right there. And as I'm driving, the fog's getting pretty thick, so I turned my brights on real quick, which was dumb, completely washed everything out. So I just turned my low beams on and my driving lights. And as I started getting close to getting into this thick fog, I saw something coming from the right side of the road over to the left. And so I slowed down. I slowed down so much that I was actually stopped. Because what I saw walking across the street was the biggest, darkest wolf I'd ever seen in my life. Like, this wolf was huge. This wolf was so big that if it wanted to, it could walk up and rest its chin on the hood of my truck. And I drive a Chevy Silverado 1500, a full-size truck, crew cab, Z71 four-wheel drive. This thing could have rested its chin on the hood of my truck. And we made eye contact. And it had the brightest, yellowest eyes that I have ever seen. And it stopped and it looked at me. And it took everything in my power not to open up my truck door to go out and try to hug this thing. Because it was a beautiful animal. And so it stood, we looked at each other for maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Like, he was like, yeah, I'm here. What are you going to do about it? I'm not going to move. And then he just slowly walked off into the woods and then gone. So we go home, and me and Josh, we were talking after that. And I said, man, this is the account I saw this. Well, then I for whatever it was, a couple of weeks later, I decided to Google Earth it. And the area that this wolf was walking away from, was a cemetery. Again,
Every time.
It's very coincidental. But this, to me, in all essence, flesh and blood, it was a giant wolf. Now, people say a dire wolf, and all. This wolf was huge. And it was stunningly, it was a beautiful animal. It looked like, I wish I could have it for a pet. Like, seriously. And I'll tell you, hey, what's up, Swamp Dog? I'll tell you, I haven't seen anything back up. We drive that route every single time. So now I'll tell the story about what happened in Tennessee, because now Matt's back. So I goofed off my junior year of high school. I failed 2 classes. So in Washington State, I knew, because I failed those 2 classes. What's up, Roger? What's up, Michael Scott? I knew, because I failed those 2 classes, that there was no way I was going to graduate on time. So I talked with my dad. I'm like, listen, Dad, it's nothing. I'm not mad with you. I'm not mad with anything here. It's just, I know in order for me to graduate on time, I need to go back to Tennessee. Because I know I'm going to graduate in Tennessee. No problem. So I go back home. He's like, okay, no problem. I said, Dad, I'm going to come right back home after I graduate high school. So I go to school. They tell me that I only need 2 credits to graduate. So I knew I was going to graduate. And so I started hanging out with a buddy of mine I hung out with when I was a freshman in high school. His name's Kyle. That's really not his name. And I was good friends with his family, his dad, Mr. Eddie, not his real name. And they were farmers. And they had a bunch of land. They grew crops, soybeans, that type of stuff. And from the yard, their backyard had to be like 2 acres. It was huge. Manicured lawn. His dad, that was one of his pride and joys, was his lawn. But from the edge of the backyard, there was like maybe like a little path, a road, so to speak, like a little dirt road, access road that his dad would drive his tractor through. And it was between the backyard and this wood line. Now, inside this wood line, about 20 about 20 acres of land, but almost in the middle of these woods, this 20 acres of woods was an old like farmhouse, like turn of the century, like late 1800s, early 1900s. Maybe oldest or the newest was maybe 1930. That was probably as new as it was. And it had no windows, no doors, nothing like that. So I come over and his dad's always giving me a hard time. Don't you got any place to go? Always hanging out, eating my food, coming over here like you own the place, like you're part of the family, and just always giving me a hard time. And his dad was a big, big farmer. He was a country boy. And I mean, you think about a farmer, Mr. Eddie is the poster child for a farmer. And so I go over there one day. We're over there probably about noon, 1 o'clock. And so we're hanging out. And his dad's like, are you staying over? What are you doing? Because me and the missus, we're leaving. We're going to this thing tonight. We may be back. I said, yeah, I think I'm gonna stay over. He's like, well, good. Don't eat all the food, all this type of stuff. So he gives us the whole rundown. Tells us not to be stupid. And my buddy Kyle's like, hey man, you want to go ride mini bikes? I'm like, yes, let's go. So we go and we get on his mini bikes and we tear down through that little road off into the woods, blow by that old house, and then go out through the back parts of the land where he's growing all these crops. And there's all these little access roads so you can take his tractors and stuff back there. But we're going everywhere. We're going all up on these dirt roads and county roads and stuff. We're hanging out with people, and we're like, it's getting kind of late. We should head on back. So we start heading on back, and we come whipping into the woods. And as we're driving past this old abandoned house, Kyle kind of slows down a little bit, which made me slow down. And I looked over to my left, and I see somebody standing in one of the windows of the front windows of this house. And then Kyle gets on it, and he zips around zips out of the woods, makes a left, goes back down that little road, and then takes off up towards the pole barn. Well, I whip up around behind him, and he just like jumped off the back of his bike and just let it go. And I'd never seen him do that before. So I pull up next to him and I go, man, did you see that dude? I think there's a guy messing around in that old house out there. And he's like, yeah, why do you think I took off? So we go running into the back door of the house because he's going to tell his dad. We come running in through the mud room and into the kitchen, and they're gone. On the kitchen table, there's a note. Listen, boys, we left. If you want something to eat, you know how to cook it. Here's where we're going to be. Here's the phone number. Don't call us. If the house is burning down or someone's dead, that's the only time I want you to call us. And his dad was always like, don't be stupid. Don't do anything dumb. And so we're like, okay. So it's probably at 5, 6 o'clock. And Kyle's in there asking what we want to eat. I said, hey, chicken sandwiches. So he's making chicken sandwiches. And I'm doing everything that you shouldn't do. Now, anybody from the South knows the man of the house has a chair, and that chair is his throne, and you don't sit in that chair, regardless if he's home or not home. You just don't. Well, guess what I was doing? I was sitting in Mr. Eddie's chair. Big old oversized chair, recliner, rocker. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like sitting in the chair the wrong way. I've got my legs over the arm of one of the chairs. I'm leaning up against the other arm. And right next to me is an end table with a lamp on it. And then there's a window. And I'm sitting there with the remote control of the TV, and I'm just flipping through it. I've got it turned up super loud, watching MTV, just flipping through the channels. And then I kind of started hearing like this scratching noise. I don't know if you can hear this. I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear that? Okay.
A little bit.
But I hear like this scratching noise, and I'm like, what the heck is that? Well, all of a sudden I started panicking. I'm like, oh man, I think I blew a speaker in the TV because I have it turned up super loud. And so I turned it down a little bit and I flipped it to the next channel, and I don't hear it. Well, then I flip it to the next channel and I hear it again. And I'm like, oh man, I hope I did not So I'm sitting there, and then I said, wait a minute. So I put it on mute, and I hear that scratching. And I'm like, where is that scratching coming from? And I careen my neck over, and I look out the window, and I see this face looking like literally pressed almost right up to the window. And what I saw was something similar to this. Its nose was a lot thinner, a lot smaller. It looked like a Voldemort nose, and its mouth was way wider, way bigger than this. And its eye sockets were more almost oval looking instead of round. And they weren't like oval side to side. They were like oval up and down. So I see this and I let out a scream. And I'm losing my stuff. I jump out of the chair. I'm standing there. I'm screaming. I'm pointing at the window. And Kyle comes running. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? And I go, man, I just saw something in the window. I go, it was right there by the window. And he's like, what did you see? I said, and I'm trying to explain it to him. So he walks over, and I'm thinking he's just going to kind of look out the window like this, but he doesn't. He goes and he puts his hands right up to the window, and he looks out. And he's looking for maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds. And he jumps off that window. He's like, oh, my gosh, I just saw something run alongside the house. So he runs into his bedroom, and he comes running out with 2 shotguns. And he hands one to me, and we start loading them up. And I go, what are we doing? He's like, we're going to go get that thing. And I'm like, no, but I'm following him. So we go through the dining room, through the kitchen, onto the back porch, to the mud room, and he grabs one of these big flashlights that looks like a lunchbox with a light on it. It has this big battery pack, right? And I get one of these like little flashlights that are like this size that has like 2 C-cell batteries in it. It's plastic. It's a piece of crap. And so as we go walking out, now he had 3 farm dogs, and these dogs are not allowed in the house. That's one thing his dad said. Don't let those damn dogs in the house. These farm dogs never, ever barked at anything unless it was like someone pulling into the driveway, and then they realized, oh, hey, how are you doing? And they were doing their own business. We'd been over there for cookouts and stuff, and we'd seen coyotes walk across like the back part of the yard, and the dogs wouldn't even. They just raise their head and look at them, and then go back to whatever they were doing. They just didn't give a crap. But as we go out the back door, and we turn the flashlights on, we hear these dogs losing their minds. Like, these dogs are really ticked off about something. So we can't see them, but we can hear them. So we start walking out through the backyard, and Kyle turns that flashlight on, and it doesn't, not like the newer flashlights, but it lights up the backyard pretty well. And we could barely see the dogs, and they're right down on that little access road, but they're maybe 10, 15 feet away from the tree line. And they're losing their stuff. The hackles on the back of their necks, they're all standing up. Their ears are flat. Their tails are up. Like, these dogs are they want to fight something. And so we're calling them like, come on, boys, come on, let's come back up. And they would not move. So we get down there, and we're trying to pull these dogs back, and they're not moving. They are stuck where they are. And we're down there for a couple of minutes, and we hear like this growlish scream, something. It's the best way I can describe it. It makes this noise. And I stand still for a second. I have my flashlight out like this, and I go to ask Kyle, man, what was that? And so when I turned my head, he was off to my right-hand side. I turned and I looked to my right, and there's no Kyle standing there. And so I look real quick, and I see Kyle and the dogs hauling butt back towards the house. So I take off running after him. Now, remember, I got this stupid, lame, dim flashlight, and I hear something coming up behind me. I hear it coming out through the trees, and I hear it coming up behind me. And I'm trying to flash my light behind me, and it's, for some reason, I think it's literally right outside the length of that beam. And so I go running, and I get up to the house a lot faster than I thought I was going to. Kyle's up there trying to open up. He's fidgeting with the door. He can't get it to open for whatever reason. The dogs are piling over each other trying to get into the door. Once we get the door open, everybody like just falls into the house. We shut the door. We lock all the doors. We lock all the windows. We pull all the blinds, all the shades, the curtains, whatever. We took his dad's chair and we shoved it up into the stairwell that led upstairs. We didn't know if this thing could climb a wall, but we thought that if we put this chair up in this stairwell, that was going to block this thing from coming down. And here we are. We're downstairs in the living room. We got 3 dogs in there with us. All the lights are on. The TV's on. We're scared to death. Well, I don't know what time we fell asleep, but the next thing I remember is I feel something kick my foot, my boot. And I open my eyes, and there's Mr. Eddie standing over me. And he's like, what in the bleep and bleep bleep is going on? I mean, here's the sight. He opens up the front door. He sees his son's friend, the 3 dogs, one laying across my legs, one laying between me and my buddy Kyle, one laying over on top of Kyle, and we got shotguns out. And his chair is up in the stairwell. He's like, what the heck? And so we're like a bunch of little schoolgirls trying to tell the same story at the same time. And he's like, you guys, calm down. And he's like, shut the F up. What is going on? And so Kyle starts telling him, well, I'm butting in because he's not remembering certain things. And so finally he's like, okay, hold on. So he goes outside, goes out the back, and we're watching from the window now. He walks along the side of the house, and he stops, and he's looking, and then he turns around. He like is moving with purpose. He comes back into the house, goes into his bedroom. You hear him open up his gun safe, comes out with his AR with magazines putting up in his pockets, walks out the back door. He's like, let's go. Okay. We follow him out there. He's like, get in the truck. And I'm like, I'm not getting in the truck. And he's like, Daniel, get your butt, but he didn't say butt, in the truck now. So I get in the bed of the truck. Kyle gets in the cab of the truck, and we take off. We drive down. I thought he was maybe stopped a little bit of ways from that house. He pulls right up, almost like right up to the front porch. And he gets out. Now, where the truck is positioned, I can look right into the house. So he asks Kyle, what window? And so I tell him, Kyle says that window right there. And he's like, which one? I go, that window right there. You walk in the door, it's that one right there. If you walk into the house, you turn to your right, there's a little step up, and then there's a stairway that goes upstairs. At the top of the landing of the stairs upstairs, you turn to your left. There's like 2 steps that go up into a hallway, and there's like 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms on the right-hand side of the hallway. There's 1 bedroom at the end of the hallway. There's 1 bedroom on the left-hand side and a bathroom. And if you keep going straight from that landing, there's like a little hallway with like a couple of closets, and then another stairway that goes downstairs into the kitchen. You could look straight through this house from the front door to the back door and out into the backyard. The front room, there's like a little room off to the side of the front room. You go through the next doorway, that's the dining room. You go off, there's a little room off to the dining room, and then there's a bathroom. And then if you walk into the kitchen, it has a pantry over there, and then the stairway, and like a closet, like a shelving thing, whatever. So his dad goes up and starts walking in. I'm watching his dad, and then all of a sudden I lose sight of his dad because he goes in deeper into the room, then comes back and goes into the next room. And I'm watching this, and all of a sudden he goes into the kitchen, and then all of a sudden I hear him yell, "Start the truck. Kyle, start the truck." And he comes running out of the house. And he jumps from the deck or the porch down to the truck. Kyle already started the truck. I'm still in the bed of the truck. his dad puts in reverse and starts backing up. One of the dogs came down. He almost hit the dog, but the dog jumped out of the way, and he takes off. Now, as we're speeding back up towards the house, his dad drives right through his backyard. Remember, his backyard, the lawn, was like one of his pride and joys. He just drove the farm truck all the way through the backyard, right to the back of the house, went in the house, made a phone call, and about 20, 30 minutes later, here comes this semi-truck with a trailer, and on the trailer is an excavator. They get the excavator off. He drives the excavator down the access road, and he levels that house in the woods. Completely levels the house. And then throws a bunch of gas or whatever on it and sets it all on fire. Now, I asked him, what did he see? He never told me. I asked Eddie, what did he see? He goes, my dad never talked about it. I saw Eddie a few years, after I'd gotten out of the military. I saw him, introduced him to my daughter, and I asked him, I said, hey, man, do you remember? He's like, yeah. He was like, I remember. He goes, but I don't want to talk about it. I think we lost Josh. He goes, I just don't want to talk about it. He goes, my dad's retired. He's sold part of the land, and he's moved to Florida. But he did say, he goes, my dad didn't see anything. My dad heard something. And so that's what it was.
Wow.
And I never want to see one of those again. What's up, Ben? No, you're not being rude, man. Yeah, you just came in. It is a long story, man. I'm sorry. So, yeah, it's something I never want to see again.
It's a good one. I remember when you shared it with me on my show, and I forgot to ask a question. So,
Sure.
Was there a basement to that house? I can't remember.
The old farmhouse?
Yeah.
I wouldn't really call it a basement, but there you could go down. It was like all dirt, and it wasn't really super big. You could probably put like your water heater in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So have you seen those little dugout basements? Where what's up, Foot Clan? Samantha, what's going on? Yeah. What else?
Now listening to it again, I mean, it'd be like my fourth time because I'll go through it for my episode. But hearing you talk about it again, and putting that face up there as a reference, that makes the encounter a little bit more intense. John from Miss Monsters and Mullets, last Christmas time, he actually had one in the middle of the road.
Yeah, John. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
So you know what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yep.
So,
I just talked to him about that.
yeah, so it seems to be making. I don't know. They're out there. I've never encountered one that I know, but it also makes me wonder too, though, for some of the white things that they're seeing. I wish Josh was still here. The white thing in the woods.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, and I'm wondering if it was living there, if it got there somehow and used it. You know what I mean? Or how long it had been there. His internet crashed.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that house, like I said, it was probably, late 1800s, early 1900s, and I'll tell you right now, man, I've had encounters. I've had a sighting of Bigfoot. I've had encounters with Bigfoot. I've had paranormal encounters. Like when I was stationed at FE Warren Air Force Base, I got touched by a ghost. And none of them, I would say the only one that comes close to that really makes me react with that fear that I had when I saw a thing was my last encounter in 92 with my little brother. Hey, Ben, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, that was...
Evening, Kristen. And happy birthday, Steamboat. Sorry, I want to say that earlier, like almost 2 hours ago. So happy birthday, Steamboat.
Yeah, it's Steamboats. Yeah, gosh, you guys, we've been on here for like an hour, 45 minutes. So you guys, let me do this real quick. Let me, you guys, in Arkansas, so in the state of Arkansas, I'll read an encounter from a couple of sites. Like, I can do one dogman encounter that I know of because I found one. It's in Benton County. So I can read that if you want to. But if you want to hear a Bigfoot encounter, tell me what county in Arkansas, and I'll let you guys know if I have one. So in the chat, drop a county in Arkansas, or if you want to hear the dogman encounter in Benton County, let me know.
Okay, so Steamboat just made a comment and he said, I saw a pterodactyl. I actually had a guy about 15, 20 miles from here, from where I live, had a pterodactyl sighting as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's, you see, when he told me that, I'm like, man, you probably saw a falcon or something like that. In my mind, I didn't tell him that. But, you know.
I'm supposed to be going to New Mexico next year with Jason Kinsey to film another episode out there where we're going to be looking for pterodactyls and such.
Cool.
So,
well, I got a lot of people saying dogman, so I'll go ahead and read this dogman encounter.
tell them the dogman encounter.
You guys, this is from October 1972. My husband, my two babies, my brother, and I left Leavenworth, Kansas in our 68 Volkswagen van. Heck yeah. On a camping trip to a recreation area in Arkansas called Beaver Lake. When we finally got there, we found a fairly remote campsite at the far end of the park. We wanted to be alone as the babies woke up often during the night and needed to be fed. We didn't want to disturb any other campers. That was nice. Shortly after pulling in our campsite, my brother pitched his tent next to the van. The rest of us were going to sleep in that van. The campsite was in an area with a horseshoe-shaped rocky terrace ledge that rose about 50 feet to around 100 feet as it curved around behind the four campsites. Because of mature trees and thick brush, daylight had trouble poking through to our spot. Fast forward to that night. Sometime around 3:30 a.m., I heard some animal sounds on the ridge and thought it might be a coyote. The babies were asleep and all was quiet otherwise. I peered out the window but couldn't see what was making the sounds because it was too dark. Still hearing odd yips and howls, I laid back down on the back seat. Moments later, there was a huge crashing bang on the side wall next to my head. My husband leapt up out of a full sleep. My brother bolted out of his tent and jumped into the van with us. We were all in a panic, looking in every direction, trying to see what had hit the van like that. My brother finally yelled that he saw something moving behind the van. We all turned just in time to see a large shadow moving about 20 feet behind the van from left to right. After about 20 minutes had passed without any of us seeing movement out there, my husband and my brother went out to inspect the van for damage, but found none. We then started hearing pounding steps coming from the brush about 50 feet behind us. The guys eased back into the front seats of the van. That's when my husband turned on the headlights and stepped on the brake pedals for the rear lights. Instantly, there was a huge commotion. He started the engine, and that's when, in the glowing from the headlights, we could see a hairy thing 10 feet away and coming towards the van. As it got closer, its silver-tipped hairs glistened in the light. It had grayish streaks from its shoulders down its back to its buttocks. The creature was walking on two legs and was around 7 or 8 feet tall, had a barreled chest and skinny legs. It never gave us a good view of its eyes, so I can't tell you what they look like. I could see that the face was not ape-like. It was dog-like. It had ears. Its ears had tufts of fur on top of them, and it was very human-like in its movement and general body structure. It moved smoothly and quickly around to the back of the van, where it followed the base of the ridge away from us. That's when it let out a menacing huff and a low grumbling growl like a dog. Instantly, my husband and brother bolted from the van, trying to get a better look. That's when a shower of gravel came at us. My husband and brother tore back into the van. and burnt up the road, getting us out of there. I kept looking out the back window, and they looked in the rearview mirrors, but saw nothing. It just didn't seem like a Sasquatch. This, let's see, like a Sasquatch was what we had seen. It seemed too dog-like in its face and too slim in its body. I still have PTSD like feelings to this day due to that encounter. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
So
All
when
right.
the only part of the story I got confused on was when she said we got showered with gravel. Did it throw gravel at him? Did it
That's
kick
what I
gravel
was
at him?
thinking. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So I mean, she didn't get on the description of it,
Yeah.
but that part with the gravel kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah. So, hey, guys out there, real quick, if you guys have had an encounter, you'd like to share your story, like to come on the show, shoot me an email at thecryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. That's thecryptidpodcast72@gmail.com. Also, if you guys like coffee, and you guys, I am a firm believer in supporting small businesses. Guys, go over to Ally Coffee Roasters at www.allycoffee.com. That's allycoffee.com. Check out what they got going on over there, you guys. They got a bunch of different types of coffee. It's ethically sourced. They pull it from 12 different countries. I've sampled the coffee myself, and I'm not a coffee drinker. I am now, and it's really, really good coffee. So check it out. And if you guys choose to buy something, which I hope you do, at checkout, I think there's a promo code Dano, and I think it's 10 or 15% off of your thing. So let them know you guys are coming on over from the Cryptid Podcast to enjoy some amazing, amazing coffee.
I
All
love
right.
coffee.
I like coffee now. I'll tell you that right now. And usually when I used to drink coffee, it'd have to be like 10 tablespoons of sugar and, a quarter cup of milk or something like that. But I tried black coffee. This is the first time I tried black coffee, and it was delicious. I really liked it. So,
Well, so this will make you laugh. So I'm doing a live show next weekend. So we have a Star Wars we have a coffee shop here, well, in North Little Rock, and it's Star Wars themed.
yeah.
And
Okay.
so like Chris and Alan have been there from Nevermore Hollows,
Yeah.
but so has Justin and Jay. But so I'm doing a live show there, and they're going to help sponsor the Cryptid Fest next year.
That's cool. And just to clarify this, you guys, Mitten Man Aaron, who is the owner of Owl Eye Coffee Roasters, they're in Cadillac, Michigan. He said there is a promo code. So for, I think it's 10 or 15% off of your order, type in the promo code Dano, Dano. I'll put it in the comments real quick. There it is. All right. See, you can tell a story about the not deer. Can I? I don't
got one.
have. Do you? Okay, here we go. Here we
You
go,
guys, well,
Samantha.
it's a quick story. So it's from Chris earlier. So his property up there that he hunts on is spooky. So I don't know what I was telling you about. So I told you about the moose that came up to him, right? That's on one side of the property, and that's where the family for years has always stated they see shadow people and weird things and shadow moving through the woods. When we went up to investigate it, I personally witnessed a shadow thing, and it was on the property across from there. So Chris gave us a tour, and we came up to the edge of their property. He's like, "Yeah, we can't go over here. We can't do this." And I was like, "Okay." So we're standing there looking, and I saw this thing in the stand of three trees. And I made the comment, WTF is that? And it was so fast that by the time they came up, Chris, Jacob, and Tony, it was gone. So Chris takes it to the other side of the property. As we're on our way there, we're driving our Jeeps to get over to the area. I keep noticing there's a lot of X's, a lot of the trees that are X, a lot of, all the way going through. And Chris is driving and he's like, okay, well, let me tell you. So right over here, he stopped, go. So, one time when I was hunting, we had this issue. One time this was happening. And he goes to describe to where this giant deer comes running through where they were at. I mean, huge, to where they could hear it. He said he got a glimpse of it. He said, but it was huge. And the rack on it was amazing. And they're like, I mean, just blew him away. He can tell it a lot better than I can, but that's about the only not deer story that I have. And that's with this giant deer that was huge, which would, signify that it was running upright. Came rushing through their, when he was out there with his ex-father-in-law and brother-in-law. But now the funny part about that property is, though, over there, that's where we found the structure at. And the property north of there, we have a 411 case out of there. To where the kid went up there, parked his truck, and gone.
Really?
The deer stand was right there. Yeah. And to where Chris even told me, he said, that morning, he said he followed him in. And the kids, they're all, trying to get there same, before dark. And he saw the guy pull off and park, and he kept going down to their property. And so when he got done, he drove by, the guy's truck was still there. So the next morning when he was coming back down, he saw the guy's truck was there, and he goes, man, there's no way he beat me here this morning. And so, yeah, just completely gone.
Wow.
So that was that. Yeah, that experience was featured on the local news and such too. So
No way. That's dude, that's crazy. I don't know what I'd do if I saw a not deer. I'd probably try to shoot it. But what would happen if you shot it? Would it revert to some different form, or would you have to tag
here's
it?
the thing. All right, so there's a cryptid here in Arkansas, and I don't know if I jump over to another screen if it's gonna take me out of. Will it take me out if I jump to the screen on my computer?
If you no, because I've been doing it.
Okay, let me find out real quick. Can you hear me still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so let me pull this up real quick.
we can still see you too.
Oh, how cool is that? All right, look, technology's not my friend, okay? All right, so, you know that. All right, so there's another one. Where did I see this at? I was looking at it earlier. All right, there's a white river monster. Yeah, we know. Wait. Hang on. I had it. Here you go. All right. So let me get it. Okay, so this creature's called, now I'm going to screw it up, Asnafus. Snawfus. It's a mythical creature from Ozark folklore. It's a large white deer with supernatural powers. Now, instead of antlers, it has flowering branches like dogwood growing from its head. And it is said to exhale blue smoke that creates a haze over the mountains in the fall and winter. It can fly and leap through treetops, but encountering one is often considered a bad omen.
What?
Yep.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, so, I mean, abilities. You can fly quietly, leap in the trees. Stories about the Snuffus include an orchidist grafting apple. What in the? Okay, that made no sense. Tried to shoot it, and with plum pits instead of bullets. Seeing a Snuffus is often seen as a sign of imminent death or a bad omen.
No, thank you.
So, and I think that might come from some local Native American lore.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Now, the other cool one that Arkansas has too, though, is the Guru.
Okay.
And that was actually featured into the local newspaper in 1897.
And what is that?
So the physical description of the Guru, you'll love this one. All right. See, I was already looking some of this stuff up for you.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So it would take us a couple hours, but here we go. All right, so the Guru. All right. Okay. Well, that's hilarious. Am I even spelling that right?
You probably are.
No, hold on. Missed the letter. Hang on. All right, so this is really fascinating. So I just interviewed a lady that moved here from Oklahoma. She got a book. She'll be at the Cryptid Fest as well, and she brought it up to me, and so it caught my attention. So the Guru is a legendary dragon-like monster from folklore and in Tall Tales from Arkan, the Ozark Mountains. It's often described as a fierce reptilian creature that terrorized local communities in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Now, the guru is consistently described as a formidable lizard-like animal. It's about 20 feet in length, green, thick scales, pair of large tusks, webbed feet with claws, and a row of short horns along its back. Now, what got me on that one was this. So it's got the large tusks. If you look at the Ozark howler, same thing.
Okay.
For some reason, it's got the horns and everything. A lot of these Ozark ones have horns or tusks. All right. The tail is a long, thin tail ending in a sharp blade-like point. Now, it is also said to make a horrifying sound, screaming or hissing noise. It sounds like guru, I guess, when it kills its prey. In 1897, the Arkansas Gazette article, the legend was cemented in public consciousness by a front-page article on January 31st, which included a sketch and claimed a posse in Searcy County had tracked and killed the creature after it had been preying on livestock and people. The posse supposedly found the monster in a cave filled with human and animal remains. Now, this is where the Smithsonian gets brought into it. All right. Now, the man who led the hunt, William Miller, claimed to have had shipped the hide and skeleton to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. But the Smithsonian has always denied receiving them.
Of course they have.
It was lost. All right.
Yep.
So, yeah, and this is out of Polk County and stuff, which is really fascinating. But another story of it involves Devil's Hole Cave. Remember, Ashford? You brought that up earlier.
Yep.
Right. So another person's story involves a spelunker in Boone County, right, with the Devil's Hole Cave, who lowered a line with a piece of iron into a deep chasm. A hissing sound would echo up, and the rope would later be retrieved, and the iron bent or bitten clean through.
What?
Yep. So, and then I don't know if I can share pictures. Can I do that on here?
Should like present or invite. Do you have that box?
Okay. So I want you to share screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I don't have two monitors, but okay, cool. All right, let's see here. I want to go to Windows. Oh, wait, what do I want to do? Choose what I want to share.
Yep, so find it'll give you a list of what windows you have open. You can just click on that window.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to go to like my window. I had it saved already.
That's right, Kristen. Anything named devil is bad.
Here's the thing too, though, on that one, is these things are named, Devil's Den, Devil's Slide, Dead Mountain. They're named for a reason. It's not. I can't find it on here.
Nope.
I can't do it.
You're good.
I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll
No, you're good.
That. But no, I say some graphics that they had drawn out. It's pretty interesting that was put into the paper here. So
how do you spell that creature's name?
it's Gowrow.
Let me see if I have it over here. Gowrow.
Yep.
All right, hold on a second here.
Images. Well, I might let me do it. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if it'll let me do it this way. Hang on.
GOW.
Okay, I'm gonna try that again.
Yeah, I can't find it over here. Oh well. Get out of that. Back to that. Okay. All right. Ready?
Am I sharing?
Yep. I have to bring it onto the.
Oh, there's a picture.
Oh wow.
Oh no way.
So this is what was described into the into the newspaper. Okay. So this is from the newspaper article.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
That was cool. Well, you guys, we are at the 2-hour mark, and I just wanted to don't want to hold you guys up more, and just let you guys know that I appreciate you guys coming on.
And I appreciate you inviting me on.
I'm glad you guys, too. Because I love having people from the state that I'm doing, because you guys are you're bringing more of a knowledge of what's going on in your state than me just going on, this site and this site and looking and trying to find everything I can. You guys are actually, oh yeah, I grew up knowing about that or hearing about that stuff. So, but before we get out of here, you guys, again, I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate everything you guys do for the channel. You guys go ahead and plug your channels, where they can find you and what you guys do again.
Yeah, Matthew Wharton, the host of the Drunken Cryptids podcast here in Arkansas. I do an interview style, encounter style. I also do my own investigations, my own research as well. So if you've had an encounter, if you don't want to go on Dan's show, you can come on my show. Or if you've been on Dan's show and want to come on my show, come on. Find me on all your social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on all your streaming platforms, YouTube, obviously. I do a spooky coffee live show most Sunday mornings about 10 a.m. Depends upon if I've got, kids schedule, stuff like that. So I call Spooky Coffee. I'll go live, Facebook, YouTube, for 30 minutes to an hour talking about current events, what's happening in the paranormal world, or what's going on with the show and where we're going. Other than that, yeah, man. That's how you find me. Shoot, I know I've been featured on Searching for Sasquatch. I don't know. Should I keep tooting my own horn? I don't know. I feel weird doing
Go ahead.
that.
Go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, it's featured on Search for Sasquatch. Like I said before, won Best Documentary Podcast in Arkansas last year. Nominated for a bunch of other awards. So we had a good time. I mean, yeah, love doing it. Love to talk to you.
I appreciate you.
I don't do a hard interview. I mean, Dan will beat you up. I'll just sit back and let you talk.
Oh, I just ask questions. I let you guys talk. You know that.
I know that. I'm giving you a hard time because I'm on your show.
Stop it. No, you guys, real quick, Josh says he's sorry his internet crashed. He had a lot of fun being on with us tonight. You guys can check him out at Mysteries Unknown on YouTube. And if you guys need to get a hold of him, shoot me an email. If you'd like to come on his show, shoot me an email because I'm going to help him out with his scheduling and things like that. So, again, you can reach Josh through me by shooting me an email at the cryptopodcast72@gmail.com. Again, that's the cryptopodcast72@gmail.com. Ashes, let's hear about you, brother.
Well, you can find my podcast channel on YouTube, the Boom Boom Room 777. That's the best way to find it. I have spooky folklore stories, and I also interview people. I have a few Bigfoot encounters. Going to have a rake encounter coming up, and interview gaming content creators and other people. Now, if you like gaming, my gaming channel is Ashes Antics, and you'll see the dog logo, so it's me. That's my logo. And you can find Ashes Antics on TikTok, Instagram, and X, formerly Twitter. And that's about it, guys.
And you guys, as usual, I'm your host, Dano, for the Cryptid Podcast. You guys can email me at the cryptopodcast72@gmail.com. Again, you can find me on YouTube. If you guys are new to the channel, new to the chat, thank you so much for dropping in. Please consider going over and checking out the channel. Check out any of the 100+ episodes that I have up or other content, shorts, and lives, and consider subscribing to the channel. You guys, I'm not going to get out of here without saying, as my buddy Josh always says, you guys stay prayed up. And as I always like to say, you guys, remember, a legend always begins with a sighting. You guys have a great day. Have a great night. Thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, episode 5, that's going to be December 6th. And we're going to be talking about California. You guys have a great day, great night. See you next show.
I got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?